right, per usual, there's some drama surrounding the Dallas Cowboys, once again having to pay one of their top talents in Micah Parsons. So the latest in the saga, he requested a trade after Dallas has yet to work out a deal with him. Jerry Jones saying he doesn't have any plans to trade a star pass rusher, but I don't know, we've seen crazier things happen. So where is Micah Parsons going to play week 1 if it is not with the Dallas Cowboys? Let's welcome in our NFL analyst, Danny Kanell. As Micah Parsons, we're going to discuss his situation and then a couple other hold-ins that are happening across the league. Danny, zoom in, Danny, right now on the TV. Let's start with Micah. Where do you think he's ultimately going to be playing week 1?
So here's the interesting Jacqueline. I think all of these players we're going to discuss probably get back with the teams that they're on. The problem with it is they don't have much leverage, but let's have some fun, all right? So I do think this is one where it gets really interesting. And Jerry Jones, his comments were so fascinating because he's like, what's the big deal? Like, I've seen a million of these things, or at least he made it sound like it. He's not losing any sleep over it because he's been there before. What I think Micah Parsons has to do is make him a little bit nervous, because Jerry's not nervous right now, but I do think the closer to the season you get and you still request this trade, the more nervous that Jerry Jones potentially could get. He does not want to face the Eagles in week 1 without Micah Parsons. Well, unfortunately, you have to call his bluff, because this is a very, very high-stakes game of poker right now, and that's ultimately where I think this could end up, is that because it goes so long, Micah Parsons isn't ready to go week 1. So I'm going to say the one place that I could see Micah Parsons be on week 1 that's not in a Dallas Cowboys uniform is on the sidelines in a Dallas Cowboys uniform or gear, because he's not ready to play, or at home watching because he's trying to hold out and force Jerry Jones' hand. Go all the way back to 1993. Emmitt Smith missed 2 games because he was in a holdout situation. Ultimately, they started 0-2. He got the deal done. That's really the biggest point of leverage that Micah Parsons has, is his playing time. So that's really the only thing that would be ultra dramatic, is if Micah Parsons isn't in a Cowboys uniform week 1. It won't be in another jersey. It'll be on the sidelines or at home.
And you know what? Jerry Jones just saying it is what it is. And we've talked about this so many times. Wasn't it like week 1, the day of the game, when Dak's deal was finally announced? Like, we've seen this time and time again, to your point, with Jerry Jones. All right, we're going to keep it in the division because there is a hold-in situation with the Commanders and Terry McLaurin. He's reportedly looking for somewhere around $30 million a year. He said right at the start of training camp, hey, I want to stay with the Commanders. I want to be here. You know, fast forward a week or so later, he has requested a trade. So what do you think ultimately happens with Terry McLaurin? Where else could he be playing week 1, if not with Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels and company?
Boy, I tell you what, this is like in vogue right now. It's very trendy to request the trade, right? And you try to, everyone kind of watch. Remember, Myles Garrett did it this past offseason. Ultimately, he got a deal. I think Scary Terry does as well. But there are some interesting options where Terry McLaurin possibly could go that I would at least be, if I was the Commanders, I'd at least be a little bit nervous about. And one of them being the New England Patriots. They have the cap space to do this. They've got the draft equity to do this, to make an offer, a first-round pick, and possibly another one in future years. And they've got the desire to do it, because look at what Terry McLaurin did for a young Jaden Daniels. Helped him win Rookie of the Year with a breakout season. What would Mike Vrabel and the Patriots love to give Drake May? A true alpha number 1. Yes, I know they got Stephon Diggs, but if you paired him with Terry McLaurin, what an unbelievable receiving core that would be all of the sudden. They're number 1 in cap space available. They've got over $60 million to spend, where they could actually go make Terry McLaurin happy. A little bit concerned about Terry asking for too much money, but a lot of times that's the point of the negotiation. I don't think he ends up anywhere else, but if he did, keep an eye on the New England Patriots as being a desirable landing spot for both parties.
Have money to spend, and then also they could certainly use another veteran in that wide receiver room. Let's talk about James Cook for Buffalo, because his hold-in continues, and he's, was caught saying repeatedly that it was business. That's why he was skipping practice. He wants, around $15 million a year. So what do you think he's going to be doing week 1? Is he going to play for Buffalo, or is it going to be elsewhere? How do you see it playing out, Danny?
He'll be in a Buffalo Bills uniform week 1. Of all these players that have leverage, I think he probably has the least amount of leverage for a couple reasons. One, the position he plays. And I know running back has made a resurgence, and we saw Saquon get paid, and we've seen other running backs get paid a little bit more, but he really doesn't have much leverage in the final year of his contract for his rookie year. They could franchise tag him after this season. So I think this is more of a plea to say, come on, please give me something. Like he's appealing to the Bills' good nature, and Brandon Beane has already made it clear we don't have that much money to spend. Remember, they took care of Josh Allen. They've taken care of some of their best players. I think they would like to, but this one I think might play longer. I think maybe in the middle of the season you could see a contract extension, but I don't know if anything gets done. Again, you're asking to be paid just third. If $15 million would be third in the league at average annual value behind Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey. Those are guys who have put down years and years of work. Still on your rookie deal. I think it's a little bit too early for James Cook to really be in a position to make the Bills nervous. So ultimately, I think he's back there. I do think they want to keep him long term. I just don't know if they have the space to do it.
So maybe to your point, James Cook has the least amount of leverage. I feel like this next guy has a whole lot of leverage in Trey Hendrickson, because we know that the Cincinnati Bengals need all the help they can get on defense, and they have the NFL sacks leader right there in Trey Hendrickson. They work out the deal with Shamar Stewart. So what do you think goes down with Trey Hendrickson? I felt like it wasn't going to happen for Shamar Stewart. I felt like that was going to continue on, but they seem to resolve that, Danny.
Yeah, I think they'll get this one done too. I mean, by all accounts, when Trey Hendrickson showed up for camp for this hold in, it was a sign of goodwill on his part. Like, look, I trust we're going to get a deal done. I'll show up. I'll go through the meetings. I'll play the role of, good teammate. In response, I think what he was hoping for this deal to speed up. Unfortunately, it hasn't gotten to that level yet. And by all accounts that you read and find out the research is that they're not that far apart. It's really on the guaranteed money. And usually when you hear that, when you're on the same page as far as average annual value and total numbers, you can kind of figure out those last minute details. But I have to remind you, Jacqueline, and everybody listening, we are so early in this process. We've only seen one preseason game, and it was the Hall of Fame game. We're not even to the first preseason game. We still have almost a month before there really starts to become a sense of urgency. And I think the Bengals just can't afford to lose a defensive piece, and a defense that needs to make a big step forward. They've got one of the best young pass rushers in Trey Hendrickson. I think it gets done, but I think this one will just be a test of his patience to say, all right, I'm going to keep waiting. I'm going to get this done. Ultimately, I think it does, because he's too valuable, and the Bengals can't afford to lose that piece on the defensive side of the ball. Yeah, we were hearing over the weekend that we get football every single day from now until February, but we still have to remember it's a month or so to go until the regular season. Danny, we appreciate it.